Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Firstly, I feel incredibly fortunate to be here, and I have said a lot of thank yous, and I've said thank yous I'm sure people saw in my retirement speech, but I did want to say a big thank you to the Melbourne Football Club for the last 4 years of my time in football, and the North Melbourne Football Club as well for bringing me into the league. But the last 4 years have been some of the most enjoyable in football, and so for that I'm incredibly thankful to the players, staff, everyone who put into my time here, and especially the fans. The Demon Army up the back's already been mentioned, but thank you to everyone who's had a part of that. To the other retiring players this year, to Lockie Hunter and also to Angus Brayshaw. We heard Gus speak on Brownlow night, and I think we're all blown away with that, but I think the careers that you both have had have been unbelievable. So congratulations to you both as well. I've got a table here tonight, and I'm joined by some of the people who have been my biggest supports through my career so far, so thanks very much. To my mum and dad and my grandma who are back home in Tasmania, you all know how much you meant to me as well, so thank you all for your support throughout my career so far. As I said, I've said a lot of thank yous already, so I thought I'd just reflect a little bit on some of the things that have been most important in my career, and it's been really gratifying across my career to bring people along on the journey, and I think for me it was as much their career as it was mine, and I think that's the case for pretty much all of us in the room today that have been players at AFL level. I think about my gran. My gran passed away last year, but she lived in a little town called Scottsdale in northern Tasmania. I always used to go to Gran's house on school holidays, and I'd talk about my exploits in footy, playing school footy or whatever it was, and she'd always say, "Oh, Benjamin, that's far too rough, you need to give up that game." But I've got it on good authority that, as my career progressed, she became somewhat of a minor celebrity in the Scottsdale area, and she'd pop down to the supermarket and she'd have people saying, "Oh, I saw your grandson play on the weekend, you should be so proud." And I think I managed to turn her around in the end, and she might have even watched a game or two in her time. So and I think about Hester's family as well. It's here tonight. Her mum Liz and sister Ruby. I know that the football wasn't always on the TV growing up. I think Friday nights, I was talking to Hester about this earlier today, and she said that Friday nights weren't for the footy, they were for Peter Cundall and Gardening Australia. But Liz was there and Ruby were there just about more than anyone else on game day when it came to my career, and Hester as well. I mean, you've been there through all the highs and lows. I think I could speak about you all night, but we don't have time for that. But I think that for me has been incredibly gratifying. I've brought people on the journey, and I think that's true for all of us. And our careers as players are so much more than just ours. They're everyone's, and they're shared. And I'm proud of the moments I've had along the way, and I suppose the big games and the big moments and the premierships, and I'll always remember those. And all those people remember those too. But I think the smiles that I've seen on kids' faces, I'll be at open training, and it's amazing as a player, you can put a smile on a kid's face with a high five or a little wave in their direction, and that's something I'll really miss about my career. Each player goes through their own struggles, both physically and mentally. But I think the message I want to leave everyone here tonight with was that everyone in this room has the ability to do what my gran went through and what Liz and Ruby have been through for me. And that's, you have the ability to have these careers that we have with us. And you can add something positive to a player's career. You can add that little bit that maybe when you're struggling as a player a little bit, you might have some issues with self-confidence or whatever it is. a little interaction with a fan or a staff member at the football club or a fellow player can make all the difference. So all I'd say is take that on and try and live our careers with us, because it is really something that we do as a community. It's not something that we do ourselves. I've been asked a lot recently what's next for me, and I do absolutely love my involvement with the AFLW side. We're halfway through a season at the moment. Had a great win the other night, by the way. And I'm really hopeful that I can continue in the AFLW space. I do really love that space. I love the culture of the place. And I love being part of Mick's Teniers group, and thank you, Mick, for having me part of that group. So I certainly hope I can remain in that space. But I'm very fortunate. I've got lots of passions. And so the next period of life is incredibly exciting for me. But I think when I reflect on it all, I always come back to my family. And I come back to Hess, and I come back to my beautiful daughters, Isla and Esme. And I know that no matter what happens in the next chapter, I'll be fine. And we'll be good. And it'll be a fun time. It's a bit scary and a bit exciting all in one. And I'm sure every player goes through that at the end of their careers, but yeah, I'll be fine. Thank you.
Want to see more from the Ds? Then don't forget to subscribe up here.